Hello and welcome to Americans Talk Australian Survivor. I'm Rachel.
I'm Leah.
And I'm Matt.
Thanks for joining us. We just watched Australian Survivor Redemption Episode 6, and there will be spoilers ahead. We open up on the Barron tribe on night 11. We see all of the Barron tribe mates sleeping, and Sneaky Caleb comes running up from tribal council. Remember, he was just over on the Bounty tribe and was part of the Harry vote. So he comes back in, he wakes everyone up, he's cackling.
And making a lot of noise. It was funny.
And he says, it was exactly what I wanted. Harry went home. I sent him home.
Right. Got a big player out.
And
he also mentions to the group, I went crazy.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to tell your allies? That's how you're acting at tribal council? I don't know.
He was extremely excited to share the news. He was over the top. But then afterwards he said, maybe I said too much.
Yeah, in the morning he did kind of have a little bit of time of reflection saying, did I go too hard? Was that the right move? So, I can give him some credit for that. He's taking a minute to step back after the excitement wears off. But I don't know how this will play out for him moving forward.
Right.
He adds excitement to the show, doesn't he?
He does.
He's excited to be playing the game. Day 12, we see the morning after the Bounty vote over on their tribe, and we are seeing that Simon feels a little bit bittersweet. He's disappointed that, his good pal Harry went home, one of the returning players, but he feels like he's in a decent position in the game.
It's pretty tough on him, he said, that Harry went packing.
Yes, but he felt like he had to do it to save himself, right? He can't jeopardize his own game, he said.
Well, he felt that he needed to save himself, probably because Lottie's the one convincing him that.
Right. And he's right?
Yeah. Well, speaking of Lottie, Asha and Cam are discussing how Lottie kind of hijacked the plan to get Harry out. Initially, Lottie didn't want Harry to go home. She was really pushing for Jackson. So it's interesting that Asha and Cam are kind of noticing, maybe Lottie's taken up a little bit more power than we want.
Agreed.
Asha and Cam notice that they're number ones. Asha wants to be ruthless. So they talked about, they both had the same initial goal. They said in their burn book from Mean Girls was getting Simon out. That is what they wanted. But now their opinions are changing a little bit about Simon.
Yes, I like how they're talking, and I think Aisha's doing a good job how she's really playing this game.
Yeah, they're not just saying, okay, I came in with a goal to get out Simon. I have to get out Simon. They're kind of adapting to the game and saying, you know what, maybe Simon could be an asset to us. Let's not just go based on emotion only. Let's see what happens.
Yes, I'm excited to watch these two.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I still think that, once it goes, when they merge, Simon's going to be tough to get rid of.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we saw Lyndall win the individual immunity last night, and it seems like traditionally the bigger, beefier boys tend not to be quite as powerful in the individual immunities when they're more so focused just on like balance or concentration. So
yes,
I don't know. We'll see. We'll
good
see.
Point,
but Simon is in the burn book. He was, and so they're keeping a bookmark on that page to come back to potentially.
And now we're on to Barron.
Yeah, now we're seeing that, you know what? Caleb's wondering if maybe he shouldn't have gone so hard about how he sent home returning player Harry right in front of returning player Mark.
Yes, right.
So he's trying to walk back this statement. He's saying, Harry was a big player. It wasn't just because he was returning. All I can say, though, is that Mark is also a big player. So I don't know that argument will make him feel very safe.
Well, I was surprised. I thought Mark would take that as a warning, but he didn't seem to really take it for anything. He just says his game is to be calm, very calm, and tell people don't stress, and then people will tell him his secrets. But he never really elaborated on taking out the big guy, the returning players.
Yeah, Mark seems to pretty much just be ignoring that everyone wants the returning players out, and I have to say it's kind of working for him. Everyone does seem to trust him. And he's noticing that everyone will kind of tell their secrets. So
Yes.
Tez comes up to him, says that he wants Johnson or Dawn. And I mean, again, this is good for Mark's game because Mark is close allies with Dawn. And now he has a little bit of a heads up that Dawn's name is on the chopping block. He's a little bit surprised and kind of tries to test the waters and see how strong Tez's opinion of Dawn is.
And then Tez tells us that he's a super fan. He observes people, and then he gets information and uses it against them. So he is very quiet, but it sounds like he's really playing the game as
Right.
well.
Thinking it through.
Yeah, it looks like Tez is a law student, and I think that that's probably doing him well. You know, he's just kind of listening, gathering information. This is exactly how I would want someone to play the game of Survivor, you know, from the beginning. You just come in quiet, and you wait to do your big moves a little bit later in the game.
Yes.
Right. Don't
And
give
so,
anybody a reason to vote you out early.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to see how far Tez goes and what he stirs up later. Johnson is not feeling quite as confident. He's realizing that his status is dropping in the tribe, and he ends up talking with Mark. You know, they're still just not quite clicking. Mark's, you know, remember he confronted Johnson a couple of episodes ago about how, hey, were you giving out my name? And Johnson said, oh, I think it was Blanche. And now they're kind of like, well, I think Blanche kind of gave up on that plan. Johnson is kind of trying to feel like they're friends, and Mark's really not buying it.
Right. Johnson's thinking it would be great to blindside Mark.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Mark is saying, I just don't trust him.
Right.
So I don't think
So you
that
have to-
relationship's going to go anywhere.
Yeah, you have to give it to Mark, though. He knows when, you know, someone's lying to him.
But you never know. When the chips are down, people do become friends who were enemies in this game.
Right. That's true.
Look at Lottie and Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we get to the reward challenge. Finally, we get a reward since they missed it yesterday.
Those nachos are making me hungry right now.
Oh, wait. Before and they heard what the reward was, Brooke said that she was shocked and terrified that Harry is gone because she knew how much this meant to him. So I
Yeah,
thought that
so-
was nice. I mean, we all know Harry was very, we don't really know him, but
Yeah.
we could tell that this meant a lot to him.
Yeah, and we know that Harry, Brooke, and David all played together, so it's got to be weird to see someone that came in with you go out of the game and say, that could have been me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once again, for me personally, I was like, oh, Harry's not there.
We'll trade Harry for some nachos. We'll trade out the nachos, take Harry back. Well, that was not an option that David provided us. Instead, we got on to the reward challenge for nachos. So this was an interesting challenge. There were two players in the water that were fighting for the ball, two players from each team. They had to get it to their thrower up on the platform, and then the thrower had to touch or knock down 3 of the opposing teammates.
Oh.
So it's kind of like dodgeball meets like real life bowling. It was
Right.
very interesting.
Really
was-
something else, a little too rough.
I thought that it should just be you knock them off the post. If the ball bounces off of them, they should be like a bowling pin, right? The bowling pin can,
Stand up.
yeah.
It doesn't have to fall
It doesn't
down.
always fall down every time it's touched.
Well, I think it's a little bit more dodgeball too.
Yeah, I see.
Well, Simon and Ben were getting very aggressive in the water,
Oh,
fighting
sure
over
were.
the ball. There was a lot of, dunking each other, and
Yes.
it was getting pretty serious out there. So there was a lot of back and forth. This was an interesting one since they had to knock over 3 players or touch 3 players. The ball kept getting back into play. So I kind of like that aspect. We got to see all the players compete for a little bit more than just one quick round.
Right, I agree with you. It was nice. The ball's still active or whatever. It was right. That was fun to
That
see.
is neat. Yeah.
And
Yeah, the rounds went on for a while.
yeah. What about Mark? He did a great job with that, pulling the ball
Yeah.
back and hitting opponents. He did.
He
very
always
nice
does.
Job. Yeah.
Right. He is good at these group challenges.
Well, finally, Bounty wins, giving Bounty the nachos.
All right, let me ask you about that. So Ben wasn't paying any attention to what was going on, and the ball hit him. So all the ball had to do was hit someone. They didn't have to
Yep.
knock him off.
Yeah.
Well, that was too
Yeah,
bad.
like dodgeball.
It was just crazy because I heard someone saying, Ben, pay attention, pay attention.
Yes, and he's waving his arm and
Yeah,
yeah.
and then boom, he's gone. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, he didn't do a great job on that one. However, I think Ben really proves himself in other challenges, so I think we'll give it to him that he lost them this one, but he pulls his weight in other challenges.
Oh, no, he pulled his weight here. The way he can swim right away, boom, he's underneath the water to get the
Right.
ball. And
And Simon's
Lindo
holding him
did a
on-
very good job working with Simon. Did you know? She kept getting the ball and throwing it to Simon. So very nice.
Yeah, so it was a great challenge, and Bounty pulled it out. So they are able to enjoy their nachos. Unfortunately, though, the Baron tribe does not get any nachos. And there's one person that's even more upset than the rest of them, and that is Dawn.
Yep.
He wanted to be the slingshot guy, huh?
He could have done better on the slingshot, he insists.
Yeah, so we've kind of been seeing this trend build up over the last few episodes of Don interjecting, saying that he could have done better at someone if they would have put him in a specific position. And up until now, it really hasn't mattered because they've won. But this is, it seems to me, the first time that they've lost a challenge where we've heard Don speak up and say, oh, that one should have been me. So he's taken it to heart.
We really don't know if he can do it, right? No one's really given him a chance.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he could do it. Mm-hmm. Well, we don't know. Well, unfortunately, there are no nachos, but there is a lot of strategy. So Faith and Keely are coming together, and they are noticing that Mark is very well connected in the tribe. He's having a lot of little conversations, and they're thinking that the person that they want to target next is Tez. This one surprised me. Tez is so quiet, under the radar, like he told us he's trying to do, that I'm thinking he seems so just
not a threat.
Yeah, insignificant at this stage of the game to them, that I don't see why they would want to take him out. And also for my own personal viewing, I want to watch and see what he does moving forward. Well, he seems like he's going to be a good player.
And they called it Snuff the Weasel.
Yeah, Operation Snuff the Weasel, which didn't seem very nice.
No.
Yeah, so they are taking a page out of the Byrne book, becoming a little bit of some mean girls doing their Snuff the Weasel operation.
Yeah.
But Faith and Keely decide to bring in Sally on this plan, so it looks like it's going to be a girl trio kind of manipulating the next vote. We'll see. We head over to the Bounty Tribe, and we see that they're really enjoying the nachos.
They are so happy about those nachos. They did look good. Right, they did. They really, it looked delicious.
Christmas Day.
Yeah, that was fun, what Simon said.
Yeah, I mean, we have commented before, sometimes we see a reward and we're saying, was that really worth it? But the nachos looked worth it. They looked good. So this is Law's first time back at camp since the last immunity challenge because she had to spend the night over at Barren. So she spills all the beans and she says Mark is like totally manipulating the tribe. He is absolutely in charge. And so that's very interesting knowledge for her to pass back.
But that's it. She really didn't say anything else. She said he has chats with Brooke, and I don't know. I thought there'd be more information that she would bring back. But
they probably kind of put a lid on the strategy chats that evening because she was there and also because they weren't going to tribal. So I would imagine there really wasn't a whole lot happening kind of because she was there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're right. I see what you're saying.
They all played a low profile and nobody was at each other.
Yeah. Well, Lottie is noticing that that she's a little bit on the outs. She wanted Harry out. Asha did not. She feels like maybe they're kind of pulling apart a little bit.
Wait, so Lottie wanted Harry to stay.
Oh, yeah. Sorry if I missed. Yeah, so Lottie wanted Harry to stay. Asha wanted Harry out. Obviously, Harry went out. So now Lottie's feeling like that connection may not be the strongest. She's looking for a ride or die, so she talks to Simon, which is very interesting.
Yes.
Turns out Simon also is looking for a ride or die. And to that, I say, I think he had one in Harry. I think Simon really snuffed that torch. I thought
it was interesting that Lottie says that Simon's playing the perfect game. I mean, that's quite a compliment.
Yeah. I mean, he is doing okay so far. I mean, he hasn't been voted out like Harry. He's not making himself as much of a target as Mark is. So for a returning player, I mean, I guess we just heard Asha and Cam say that they no longer are targeting him. So he is doing a decent job of making himself low threat.
Yeah,
however,
and he's strong.
I still think he could have done a better job in keeping Harry in the game so that he was more protected.
100%.
He didn't ask our opinions.
Yeah. But Simon's very excited. He said it's all coming together for him. So...
Yeah. And I'm very excited for this duo as well. Obviously, we have been enjoying watching Lottie on our screens, even though, we may disagree with some of Simon's moves. It's always fun to see a returning player and someone who has done so much in the game of Survivor. So I am very interested to see how this will turn out, this duo. So now we head into the immunity challenge.
Woohoo!
So there's a lot of different aspects of this. One person has to go unclip a rope. They have to swim out. A lot of boxes, a puzzle, the whole big ordeal. And so the very first step, one individual has to swim out and kind of unclip this thing from underwater. And we see that Ben can't unclip it. And the whole time we're hearing Don say, I could have done that.
And maybe he could have.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
But
Maybe.
Mark's like, it's team. We're a team.
Right, we're a team and we're sticking together. So that's
I
good
have
that Mark
to-
is saying that.
I have to agree. I don't think it was helpful for him to announce that, but it is interesting how much it's
Especially
coming
when
up.
they're literally in the challenge.
Right.
You have to think, you can't think like that. You just got to move forward.
Sure, post-challenge, it's a fine
stressed.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, eventually Ben is able to do it, and now we have to move these cards. We have to smash the cards. Everyone's running, and now we get to a 2-person maze where they have to pull the rope at a certain time and maneuver the balls, and it looks like you need a lot of really strong coordination, communication between the teammates, and then also just like a very gentle touch in the maze.
And what about the teammates? I thought that was really interesting. Simon and Rich, who hadn't worked together. And Simon's been really stepping up to do all these challenges. And then Mark and
Johnson.
yeah.
yeah.
Two people.
Yeah,
who
the
you
two
would-
enemies.
Yeah,
Right.
pretty interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that they picked those two, that they volunteered together or whatever the situation was.
Yeah, but all 4 of them did a fantastic
Excellent.
job. I mean, we barely saw any balls drop. I don't even know if they dropped any. It
Yeah,
seemed
the
like
one,
they just
the
kept
very
getting
last
them.
one.
Oh, okay.
Simon and Rich dropped their last ball.
And had to do that one twice.
Yeah.
But they pulled it through because
Woohoo!
Bounty won. Finally. I
Yes.
was sick of seeing them at Tribal Council. So from that perspective, I'm okay with Baron going to Tribal tonight.
Yes.
So
it's very
Mark,
exciting.
Mark, even though he was not able to pull off this last piece, he still feels that he is in charge and he does not feel worried even a little bit. So now it's time for the scramble. So we see that Mark wants Johnson out. He feels pretty strongly that this will be no big deal. He's got the Corn Chip Cartel, Don and Caleb voting for Johnson. And then there's a discussion about splitting on Ben. And I'm thinking of all the people, why would you do your absolute strongest player?
Right. But then Don says, oh, you can use my name.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, this is the second, right? Didn't he do this?
He did, yeah.
He did
It's the
earlier.
second time, yes. And
Yeah. As long
Always
as I'm
more
not
than
going
willing.
home, he said.
Right. So he's always stepping up. He's,
Yeah.
you can use me.
He's
I'll
selfless.
do it. Right.
Yeah.
He'll take one
He's
for the
willing
team.
to be a team player.
But Keely
Right.
has a whole nother plan. She wants to get up Caleb. She said he has loose lips. And she's worried about when they swap teams that he'll go to someone else right away. And she brings in Faith and Sally, and they're talking again about Tez or Caleb.
Yeah, so it's very interesting with these 3 women. They are 100% sure that there is a swap coming tomorrow. They say it a couple times very definitively. Not, I think a swap's coming probably in the next few days. It's like a swap will be here tomorrow, and this is what we have to vote on. So I guess I'm just curious, is it the same? I feel like typically it's not so obvious. So I don't
That it's
know
coming,
if someone
yeah.
gave them a heads up, how
Yeah.
they figured this out.
But it was just them talking about it. Nobody else in the whole show seemed to be talking about it, right? So did
Right,
they-
it was
did they
just
get-
them. You were correct.
Did
Yeah.
they just hear that from a producer or somebody
I don't
behind
know.
the scenes or something? I don't know how they know that it's coming.
Yeah, like you said, Rachel or Matt, no one else has spoken about this, just them.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of murmuring about like when a tribe swap comes, but it's not like 1,000% tomorrow.
Right, that everybody knows it's tomorrow.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about this stage of the game is that we're not thinking about who do we want on our tribe right now. It's who do you want to be with in a minority at tribe swap. So everyone is just going into it saying, if worst case scenario, I end up on a minority Baron group in my second tribe.
Yeah, do you want Caleb on your team?
Yeah, who has been announcing nonstop that he went crazy at Tribal
Right.
and that he's here to play crazy. I don't know. Or Tez, who's not really strongly tied to anyone and might end up swapping. Who knows? So it turns out that Sally says that she would prefer Caleb, so that is the name that they go with. And so we're seeing a lot of discussion here. We don't know who it's going to be. So it seems like the girls are really pushing Caleb. The boys are pushing Johnson. The interesting thing is, though, Keeley goes over and tells Johnson what the plan is, and he gets extremely paranoid and anxious. He just does not feel that this is accurate. He keeps trying to, like, recheck the numbers. And Keeley makes a comment here. She said, I could easily flip it to Johnson. And I thought that was, I think the power might be getting to her head.
Yes.
That she herself could flip it like that and get him out of the game. I'm like, oh, I don't know. We see a couple more scenarios of Johnson not being treated with the utmost respect. A little bit of that
Faith
mean girl.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, very,
is
very
coming
mean.
back out.
Yeah, I did not like
Faith
how
is
she
like,
was
we don't
talking
even
to
have
him.
to talk. I don't
Right.
think you need to talk with me. And I'm thinking, if you're an ally, you have to, like, if your ally is anxious and needs to, like, go over the plan again, you can be a little annoyed, but you got to go over it once with him. I mean, it didn't seem that wild.
And then she said that she's going to make sure he gets snuffed and catch on fire or something?
Before they put your flame out, I'll catch you on fire. Like, wow, that is just
some harsh words. Yeah. Especially Faith, when she came into this game, she's saying, I'm a mother. I teach my kids school. I homeschool. You're thinking we're getting this, like, gentle kindergarten teacher energy. And that is not the case in this stage of the game.
And just eating rice and beans all the time is affecting her, maybe.
Yeah. Well, Faith then lets Brooke in on the plan, and Brooke is pretty nervous about this. She does not want to make waves. I'm curious. We didn't really get a super clear look as to what Brooke was thinking. I was wondering if maybe she's anxious about going against Mark, the other returning player. She wants to stay on his good side. I don't know.
Well, she said that Caleb is one of the few people who really likes her.
So we'll see what happens.
Mark and Brooke were working together.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I don't know if she wants to go against Mark's ally.
Oh, yeah, I see. And do people know that those two are working together?
No.
Yeah, I think it's
so.
undercover.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And then what about Tez says he doesn't know. He wants to tell Mark something, but he won't tell Mark exactly what's going on. And Mark's like, this
It's another name.
thing. Yeah, he wants some information, but Tez says something's happening, but I'm not going to tell you what.
Yeah, I heard another name.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what name. Interesting. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out for Tez. He's not necessarily being deceitful. I guess he's trying to play like a more honest game, but I don't know that it's necessarily helping his alliance.
No, I think he was just torn. He really likes Mark. He said he's a fan of Mark. He's a super fan, so he likes Mark. He couldn't believe that he's sitting with Mark.
Yes.
So probably he's like, oh, I want to tell him.
Yeah, like I don't want to go against my buddy.
Right.
I could see that happening to me. You'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm sitting here. I'm on the same beach with somebody who I saw play,
Yeah.
Well, that happened with Lisa and Suri last in the Australia versus the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa said, the number one thing I want to do out here is make sure Suri Fields wins Survivor.
Yeah.
Well, now it is time to get to Tribal Council. So we are finding out that it has been 8 days since the Baron tribe has been at Tribal and they sent Kat home. So it's been quite a while that their plans have been stewing, and it sounds like things are changing. They've had a little bit too much time.
And right off the bat, Caleb says he doesn't want to make it as crazy as last night.
Yeah.
Another time I'm thinking, no need to highlight.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
And then what about Brooke pulling out her idol?
Odd.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
Yeah, so
she said, no one's talking about Brooke.
Yeah, I think that this really just shows us how much paranoia there is, especially at the beginning of the game when any name could be thrown out for any reason. I think also with Harry going home just last night and of course, Caleb running home and saying, I got a returning player. That's got to make you worried as Brooke, a third-time player. So I think that combined with hearing all these different names, she's hearing a different name from Mark versus the women. I think she probably was just like, I'm not going home with an idol in my pocket.
Sure.
Even though no one was talking about her, she was just worried. So she puts on the necklace and says, maybe I'll play it for myself. Maybe I'll play it for anyone else.
Oh.
So
and Don's like, you can play it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking Keeley, Sally, and Faith are
And
probably
Faith.
like, oh,
Yeah,
she
this
knows
is
who
not
we're
part-
voting
this is
for.
not
She
part of our
gives her
plan.
idol
Yeah.
to Caleb.
Yeah. Well, plans did change because finally it is time to vote. And Brooke walks up with her idol. She thinks about it. She hems and haws, and she finally plays it for herself, which I think was the right move for her at this stage. She didn't need to play it, but if she was going to play it, I think, she made sure that she wasn't going out. I think it's better to play an idol incorrectly and uselessly than go home with one in your pocket.
You're right. You're exactly right.
Yes.
So Brooke is safe tonight, and then David reads the votes. We see that there are, I think I counted about 4 for Dawn, and then 6 for Johnson, sending Johnson home.
And 0 for Brooke.
Yeah, 0 for Brooke, 0 for Caleb. But that's okay. You know what? I mean, it's better now there's another idol out there for Brooke to find. Better that than going home with it in her pocket.
Yeah.
So
Next episode, I'm going to be anxious to see if they're out there looking for it right away, or are they going to wait 2 or 3 days?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like people are looking for it too much. But I feel badly for Johnson. I'm not sure why he didn't connect with anybody. I just didn't see what happened.
I think Johnson is a big player coming out of Big Brother, and Mark is a big player coming out of Survivor, and there was only room for one on the beach.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
Right.
Well, it turns out that Faith's instincts are correct. We are coming up on a tribe swap, so we are very excited to see that next week.
It's interesting, real fast. I thought it was interesting that everybody seemed to have mud on them already when they did the swap. It's not like they just walked in. They were.
Yeah, so they must have had a challenge and then they swapped.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Maybe mid-challenge they swap.
Who knows?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, this has been a great season.
Yeah, another great week, our second week down. We are very excited for you guys to join us next week for another episode of Americans Talk Australian Survivor. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at ATA Survivor, TikTok at ATA Survivor, and send us an email at ataustraliansurvivor@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about Johnson going home, and let us know your thoughts on the season. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.